Hi, my name's Joe Baptist, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about the Arkansas Baptist News, or as you know it, the ABN. You know, back in the day, when those guys, Paul and Barnabas, were on their missionary journeys, they didn't have a newspaper to share what churches were doing, but it was still important for Christians to stay connected. It was so important that Paul made a point to share this information. In fact, Acts 14:27 says, "On arriving there, they gathered the church together and reported all that God had done through them and how he had opened a door of faith to the Gentiles." But the idea of sharing God's work didn't start with him. Way before Paul's time, back in the Old Testament, the psalmist instructed, "Tell of his glory among the nations, his wonderful deeds among all the peoples." And now, thousands of years later, that's exactly what the ABN is striving to do. For more than a century, the ABN has been sharing the story of how God is at work in the lives of Arkansas Baptists, and in doing so, has been keeping Arkansas Baptists informed, inspired, and involved in the ministry. But it hasn't been easy for the ABN, no sir. Just getting a newspaper started seemed an almost insurmountable task. In fact, you might say that Arkansas has had more separate Baptist newspapers with its namesake than possibly any other state convention. The earliest Arkansas Baptist, established in 1858, was suspended with the outbreak of the Civil War. The second Arkansas Baptist was established in 1868 and only lasted 10 weeks. Two more Arkansas Baptists sprang up in the 1870s and 1880s, but eventually suspended publication. Finally, the current state newspaper, first known as the Baptist Advance, began through the action of messengers at the 1901 convention. Its motto was, "For Christ, the churches, and cooperation." It's still our charge today, more than 100 years later. Now that's a good long time. But even once it was started, the state newspaper met hard times. I mean, you know times are tough when the editor accepts chicken and produce as payment for subscriptions. There was even a time when there were too few literate people in the state of Arkansas to support the newspaper. But whether it was the Great Depression, low literacy rates, the Little Rock desegregation crisis, or any number of other hardships, the ABN stood strong. It remained true to its mission, the same mission it began with when it was started by those convention messengers in 1901. The action taken by those messengers summed it up well. It read in part, "We believe that the State Mission Board should arrange to publish a missionary bulletin to give information and quicken interest in the work." Which is fancy talk for wanting to help people stay informed, inspired, and involved. Now that's a story we can be proud of. Thank you, Arkansas Baptists, for allowing us more than 100 years of sharing your stories and helping you stay informed, inspired, and involved. Don't miss out on being a part of the ABN's continuing story. Subscribe to the Arkansas Baptist News at arkansasbaptist.org and follow us on Twitter and Facebook as @ArkBaptNews.